Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Rooster Teeth Podcast. I'm Gus.
I'm John.
I'm Barbara.
And I'm Gus. I was Gus expecting the wide shot. It's like, oh, no.
We're in another new room, and so it's relearning the camera angles again.
It's constantly changing. It doesn't really look that different from the camera perspective. The only thing that's different is we added a duck.
Ooh,
Why
it
do we have a
almost
duck?
looks like it's Photoshopped.
It's the duck that Andrew Rosas painted for the stamp competition.
Why didn't we put it like on the back?
I walked in. That's where it was.
Okay.
Don't question the duck.
Oh, those are used elsewhere.
Whack, whack. Oh, okay.
So-
Just a permanent fixture of the wooden slats. Almost said slates.
No, not that.
Happy New Year, Gus.
Happy New Year. We made it, 2022.
Happy New Year, Barb.
Happy New Year, John.
Happy New Year, John. I've been looking forward to
Happy
this year
Christmas.
for a long time.
You've been what?
I've been looking forward to this year for a long time.
Why?
Because, I'm like a weirdo about numbers, right?
You could have just stopped before.
I'm a
at
weirdo about numbers. My birthday is 2/22. So
Okay.
this year, my birthday will be 2/22/22 on a Tuesday, and I turn 44.
That is, man. People's OCD must be like, yes.
Yes, excellent. It all lined up. So I've been like, I remember being in elementary school, like figuring it out, and it'd be like 2/22/22 44.
This is the birthday. This is it.
This is the year Gus.
All downhill from here.
This is the year of God. You know you shouldn't say things like that at the beginning of any year now. Don't claim a year.
After the shit show the past couple of years have been, I'm ready.
Are we
This is it.
allowed to even make like nice predictions about anything anymore? Because it's just like, man, I feel like it's gonna backfire no matter what we say.
Most likely.
I have to call out the internet on something.
Uh-oh.
The internet, the
Get ready,
perfect.
internet.
About New Year's.
Okay.
So we posted a pretty popular TikTok video at the end of the year.
We did.
And it involves us making fun of New Year's Eve 2019, jumping right into New Year's Day of 2022.
Feeling like it did, yeah.
Feeling like they did. There are an alarming amount of people in the comment sections on everywhere we've posted this video, TikTok, Instagram, and all that kind of stuff, of people who don't understand how dates and New Year celebrations work.
I know.
Because there's a lot of people seeing the video where behind us at the beginning of the video, since we're celebrating the end of 2019, we have 2020 above
Right.
us. And then it jumps 2022. They're like, but the pandemic started.
They're like, it should have been 2019
Yeah. 'Cause you
because
don't-
the pandemic was in 2020.
You
It's
don't
like,
put the year up you're leaving. You put the year up you're
We're
going
not celebrating
into.
the end of a year. We're celebrating the beginning of a
Right.
new year. That's why it's called New Year's.
There was someone who commented on our TikTok after we had just uploaded it, being like, "Oh, sweetie, don't you know when the pandemic started?" And I responded with, "Oh, sweetie, don't you know how New Year's works?" Like,
Did you know how calendars work?
I had, the other day on New Year's Eve, I had tweeted just like the stupid image I had made of like the Merovingian.
Oh, yeah. It's a good meme. It's a very good meme.
I intentionally, instead of putting 2020 and 2022, because of the comments on that video, I intentionally wrote December 31st, 2019 and December 31st, 2021. Because I was like, I don't want to get bombarded with people saying that the years are wrong.
I don't
Yeah.
get, like, even at the celebrations with the glasses, you have the new year on the glasses.
I think it's just, to be fair, these past 2 years have been a fucking shit show, and it's just like such an awful mental toll on people, ourselves included, that like when you see the year 2020, you're not necessarily thinking December 2019, but like this wasn't going on yet. You see 2020 and you're like, fuck, that was the pandemic year when it all started. So like maybe people's critical thinking was a little
No, here's where I draw the line. Because in general, it is my opinion, you can roast me at the stake for this, but I think this is an uncontroversial opinion. People need to put more thought before they hit the enter button on comments.
No.
Just type it up and then take a breath.
Think.
Just take a breath, edit your copy.
Could not agree with you more.
And this comes from someone who's made mistakes with comments and tweets. I know. Did you know you can? There's a premium feature on. Sorry, my ADD brain just jumped. There's a premium feature on Twitter now where you could sign up for editing tweets.
Is it like a paid feature?
It's like Twitter Blue.
Twitter Blue. They don't advertise. I saw
They
it in
don't.
the app. I was like, what is that?
And I didn't like that I think we all should still have to live with our unedited tweets. I think that is a standard that should be kept for forever.
As someone who used to run the social media for this company
And now runs social
and
media for
now
another one.
runs the social media for Squad Team Force, more or less. I would love an edit function.
I know.
Because I cannot tell you the sinking feeling of putting out like a well-crafted tweet that like people get alerts for and see right away, and then realizing you put the wrong there.
Well, it can be yours for $2.99 a month. Apparently.
It's a valid reason to want to have it. I want it there because we have turned Twitter into literally this like historical log, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And if people want to leave their tweets up on their accounts for forever, we should be able to go back, especially like, you know, politicians and stuff, and just be like, hey, bruv, you said this. Like, I think that should, it's like, it's historical record now. You know, it's like why even like the president's account is like considered
Right.
part of like
The public record.
Public record. And so I'm like, don't let him edit it. Don't let him edit it.
Yeah.
I think it's only a limited window. You can.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, like so.
I
I'm
think
going to
it's
read
within a few minutes,
The copy.
right?
Typo. Forget to tag someone. Give yourself time to preview and make changes to your tweet before it goes live. So it makes it sound like you have a buffer of a little bit, and then your tweet goes out.
Interesting.
Yeah, I want
It's
to
very
say.
vague, though.
I don't know how it works because I refuse to pay $2.99 a month for that.
There's I think does not
Peter
exist.
Hayes is calling you out because you stumbled on your words. Well-crafted tweet.
Well crafted tweet. Listen, it's been a long year already.
Yeah.
It's only the third.
We talk a lot.
We do talk a lot.
We do.
Some of us continue to get better at it. Some of us continue to get worse. What's happening with Chris? Is he having strokes every day?
Dude, we recorded Tales from the Stinky Dragon this morning, and I think like Chris already, I think he starts talking before he actually thinks about what he's going to say, which is why I think sometimes he stumbles through some things.
Yeah.
But when he's doing his character Gum Gum for Tales from the Stinky Dragon, he also is doing like a character and a voice that's like supposed to be kind of dumb. And so it just kind of, it works in its favor though, because it kind of makes the character seem even dumber.
I think
when
we
he's
had to call him out on a recording this morning. I was like, you're getting too much Chris in your gum gum.
It's
very
a
impressive.
lot.
Very impressive.
It's a lot.
I haven't seen a lot of really positive comments lately about Tales from the Stinky Dragon. I feel like more and more people are discovering it and more people are enjoying it.
Not enough.
I get it. I get it. We've been making stuff for forever. So like it's a pretty safe bet to go like they probably can't think of something really cool new to make. So they're probably like still making the same, like hashing out the same old stuff. No, this is coming from someone who has so much self-hate. Sneaky Dragon's really good. I listen to it and I like listening and I'm in it. And I like to listen to
Blaine
it.
was saying that he was listening to an episode and like when the theme music started playing, he got like emotional.
You got excited. You got
I was
excited.
like, that's cute.
That's
It's-
funny. I think you guys shouldn't listen to it though, because then you hear things that maybe your characters don't know.
That happens less. What happens more is we actually get reminded of what happened because my memory of what happens in the recordings just almost goes away.
Oh,
right away.
immediately. Immediately.
And we
Yeah.
only record
Once a week?
once a week on average for about an hour and a half at a time.
Yes. So like, and then we record, like I said, we recorded an episode this morning, but it had been 2 or 2.5, maybe 3 weeks
3
since we last
weeks,
did our
yeah.
previous one because of the holidays and everything.
And
So-
we also all have holiday brain.
Yeah.
Right. Everyone was like, wait, where were we? Exactly what was happening? So it's like, there's a recap and then like kind of trying to set everything back.
And
like,
then-
oh, right.
I'm not going to give it away, but the episode you made us record today was one where we had to think. Like it wasn't just like, oh, you're in combat.
Yeah,
Beat
no,
this.
It was, remember the story up till now?
Yeah.
Not only just that, remember the story now and solve this diplomatic problem with no instructions.
Yeah.
And also no spells because you haven't rested in
Yeah,
forever
no,
and
you
you've
have
got
spells.
no
You have
abilities.
powers. You have no powers.
I'm also so bad at fantasy names and lingo. Like that's why I've never like read Lord of the Rings because it's just so thick.
We're
with
also
that kind
hearing
of
it,
stuff.
too.
We're also hearing it. So like
We're not reading it.
it's a D&D fantasy podcast. So there's words like Ishbjorn and Brumafume and like Valrossian and like all these things that
You-
aren't real words that you have to remember.
You chuckle when we can't remember something, but I guarantee you flipped situation, you'd be
I
forgetting.
remember everything off the top of my head. That when you all ask a question, I have to think of it and remember.
Well, you're
Granted,
also
sometimes
telling the story.
Yeah, sometimes I have to be like, oh, what was that, or like think about it. But for the most part, I mean, every now and then, your brother Michael will like chime in and have to say something. But for the most part, like for example, I didn't remember the name Fred this morning. I'll give you that one.
Oh. Okay.
I won't give away who Fred is.
Yeah.
But I don't want to sound like Chris, but we do need to level up.
It will be soon. It will be soon.
We are hitting that point where we're like, we need to be able to do more things.
Well, every level is supposed to take longer and longer. Like there's a curve to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first couple levels are, you're starting the game, you're starting to learn your skills and everything. After 5, things really start to slow down. You're at 4 right now.
We're 4, yeah. Level 4.
Yeah, it's I wanna get a little bit more powerful with that.
We ran into a funny situation today. I don't think it'll spoil too much, but there was an episode where a few of the characters had to do a performance, which involved certain spells, and we had already been in combat and doing stuff for a while, to the point where we hadn't taken a short or long rest for a while, and then we had to do the same performance, but most of us were out of spell slots.
This is Guz's way of burning our spell slots again.
No, I mean, you all came up with those performances. You didn't need to cast spells.
Well, we didn't think we'd perform it again.
That was part of the thing. That was part of the prize.
To hike back for a second, back when we were talking about posting stuff on social media, I wanted to tell you guys specifically, because you guys know me really well, and so you understand why this happened for me. I want to tell you a story about me making something social for myself that I was paid to make, and how it went down to do so.
Oh.
So I got hired by Alamo Drafthouse to just do some promotional stuff.
Fine
with it.
theater.
Love Alamo Drafthouse. And they just wanted me to go film a TikTok and then also go take some photos and that kind of thing. I am an anxious person, and I don't like taking selfies in public anymore. For some reason, that like practice has gone out, and now I feel embarrassed taking selfies. I feel silly.
We're all out of practice for that.
I'm also like, I'm old now in my head. I also have a child that's making me feel older and older, because she's like junior high now, and it's just like I feel
inevitable.
I feel myself aging rapidly, and so I feel silly doing it. Much less filming something in public. Now, to talk about Chris will do anything.
He'll do anything
in public,
anywhere,
that will make those of us around him cringe like crazy. And I think Chris forgets that he's in public sometimes. I think he just
There is no difference, public, private. Like it's all just the world.
And so I came up with a simple idea for a little social video I wanted to film, but then when I got to the theater to do it, I was trying to find a place I could do it where no one was gonna be around, and I couldn't figure it out, and like I was getting embarrassed.
See, I saw your TikTok. It was cute.
Okay, so in my TikTok, I did a little dance
Towards the theater,
made
yeah.
a little reference to like a trend on TikTok and that kind of thing. Now, I tried to do it when I went to go see the movies. That's when I was supposed to do it, but I couldn't. So I went and saw the movie. I took my photos in the theater and everything like that. And then they emailed me, and they're like, hey, when you have the stuff after the movie, send it to us and we'll get it approved. I emailed them back. I was like, I couldn't get a shot that I wanted, so I'm going to pick it up tomorrow and I'll send it to you.
How early did you get up to?
I went to the Alamo Drafthouse parking lot at 7 a.m.
Oh my god!
I knew it. I knew it was gonna be first thing in the morning.
And there's nothing out there that's open. Well, there's a coffee shop a little
but
down.
there's not a lot of people out there at that point.
I went down to the Slaughter Lane one.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of the South Lamar one.
No, because that one's got people that live around it. And
Slaughter Lane, there's nothing else really.
there's nothing there.
It's just the theater.
So if you watch the TikTok and there's a reverse shot, and where the first shot looks out into the parking lot, you'll notice there's no cars because it was just this lone man in a Alamo Drafthouse parking lot at 7 a.m. doing a little dance to myself.
Listen, I honestly would have done the same thing.
But it turned out good.
Yeah.
It worked, and I didn't feel bad.
You would have no way of knowing that it was 7 a.m. at the movie theater.
No, and it was like a overcast, like it was just like already like but you can also tell that because it's overcast during that time when I filmed it we didn't have clouds except for very early in the morning. It
Yeah.
would clear off.
In chat, Weightless W called you John Scheisinger.
I'm so shy in that kind of a setting, which is funny because my girlfriend always comments about how, like, in this kind of a setting, or even worse, in like our big old open public settings, like where we're at like panels or live shows, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I can generally get on stage without really having too much of a panic attack, but like intimate environments, I can't do.
Well, I think the big difference, and I've thought about this too, because I'm the same way. Like stuff like this or doing panels at RTX, I don't really get nervous about that kind of stuff. It's, I think, because you realize all the people there or people watching want to be listening to you or want to be there for you or for whatever content you're going to be in, versus anywhere else.
Or
People
you're just some random person.
yeah. Or like you just kind of are in a conversation with someone and it's just like, I don't know if you want to be talking to me.
Yeah.
But here we are.
There's also no like conversation to be had in that kind of a setting, you
Right.
know? And so when it's like an intimate setting, I get anxious. I even had, I haven't told her, and so if Cameron watches this, he might tell her, but my trainer, Cedar, who I've been training with for a little bit,
Who's also Cameron's significant other.
every time we do tele meetings, I work out of my house and I just call into her. Every time I get freaked out beforehand because it's a social interaction and I'm like performing in front of her and that kind of thing, and I freak out every time. I almost actually
Just wear a mask. Not like a, but like a full, like a
Full
ski
face
mask. Yeah.
That's fun to work out in.
yeah in my own house.
Yeah.
In my own house.
I'm gonna rob the place after this.
Oh man,
Just get ready.
Yeah, we showed up with some guns.
These,
Hey.
these guns.
Where's your soundboard when you need
She
it?
I
had the
know.
audacity this morning
Cedar?
I prefer
to
Reaper.
for our first workout of the year, and after coming back from break, to be like, "Hey, let's retest your pull-up max and your push-up max right after."
How'd
each
you
other."
do?
I didn't do well.
You busted through your max. New max. New high
I
score.
didn't do well. I technically upped my max of pull-ups by just a little bit, but my push-up max went down because the last time I did a push-up max, it was when I was like eating at a surplus, and it's all I did. It was like, it was middle of the day. I was like, I wonder how many push-ups I can do.
Yeah.
And so I did. It wasn't after I had just gone onto the pull-up bar and just, you know,
You've probably been like horizontal
At
for
8
the
in the
last 2
morning.
weeks.
Yeah. so, but it was fine.
This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. We talk about BetterHelp a lot on the show, and now they're releasing a new podcast of their own, their competition, I guess. Their podcast is called Getting Better, Stories of Mental Health. Go check it out. Season 1 just dropped with episodes featuring interviews with notable people like NBA Hall of Famer Chris Bosh talking about anxiety, pop star Meghan Trainor on motherhood and panic attacks, and Wilmer Valderrama on immigrating to a new country and more. Mental health is something we should all be focusing on just as much as we focus on our physical health. So join BetterHelp as they continue to fight to destigmatize mental health and show that that everyone struggles with something. So we need to talk about it. And you can do your part by listening to and sharing your favorite episode by spreading the word that it's okay to not be okay. So find this awesome new mental health podcast, Getting Better, Stories of Mental Health, on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, wherever.
The thing is, though, like, you'd be surprised how quickly strength comes back. And I think that's what a lot of people are really scared about, if they are on, like, a really good trajectory, working out and, like, being consistent, and then something happens where they lose track of time or can't work out or whatever it is, your strength comes back very fast.
It does pretty.
That's why they call it muscle memory, right?
Maybe.
I
I don't think it is, but anyway,
I don't have any muscle memory.
whatever floats your boat.
Speaking of like people who don't have any boundaries between like private and public spaces, the season finale of How To with John Wilson was this past Friday.
I've only watched the first episode of the season.
How was it?
It was so good.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of the second season
Not
yet?
the second season.
I didn't watch any second.
Not yet.
There's only I think 6 episodes in season 2, so it's real quick. It's a 30-minute show. They all go really quick. Again, it's just like I don't know how this guy has so much footage to just go along with everything that he's filming and why it's such a compelling watch. Like, I don't know.
Meticulous note taking.
We talked about this during the first season. Like, I don't know how you describe that show in a way to someone that makes them think, I want to watch that.
You can't. You just have to say, just try it.
Yeah.
Just watch an episode.
It's also amazing how it's in that kind of a genre category of cringe humor, but it's not really cringy.
No.
It's actually quite smart, and it's very smooth in the way he tells his stories. Like to compare it to like what's the Nathan show?
Nathan for you?
Nathan for you. Nathan for you is like peak cringe. And it's that same kind of thing of like just that really oddball individual comedian. But how to I can just watch it and enjoy it. Like I love, actually, it's one of the shows that the first season I watched it while I worked out a lot, and just that's how I got through the first season was having it on. It's just great. That's such a good show.
Plus, I feel like it's great that it's like a 30-minute show. It's like low level of commitment. You don't have to be like, oh, I'm going to watch.
I love 30-minute shows.
Yeah, this long thing. It's like, no, in and out. You get your thing. Boom, done.
There are two shows I watched over the break. One I binged the entirety of, which is 20-somethings in Austin.
Oh, that's in Austin. Yeah.
It's a Netflix show, and it basically covers, I think it's 8 single 20-something-year-olds who are trying out Austin as a place to live.
It's reality TV.
Reality TV, 100%.
It's your reality. It's your reality.
But it was just like, it wasn't so much the show that I enjoyed, but just seeing Austin.
Oh, that's funny.
Being like, we've eaten there, or
Yeah.
like, we went there. That's so cool. Like, just to see your city in a show like that was just
It's funny because
realistic.
in a similar vein, I started watching the newest season of Queer Eye this past
Which is also in
weekend,
Austin.
Which is also in Austin. It's the
Yeah.
same thing, whereas like they show all the shots, like, oh, that's just to the left. Like they just turn the camera, like it looks like two totally different shots. Like, oh, those places are right by each other.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited to watch that too.
What is the other thing you watched?
I finally started, and I'm only 5 episodes in, but Succession.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I saw good.
That show is, I mean, it's a great show, but fuck is it tough to watch.
There's like 3 seasons
3
of that.
seasons.
Everybody is terrible in it.
Everyone
like just
is
the characters. The
awful.
characters are terrible.
Yeah.
But they get like the characters increase in like quality of entertainment every episode all season long and all through all the season. It just gets this last season, and the finale was just so good.
Yeah.
I got Andy to finally get into it, and he got to watch season 3 as it came out, and he was crazy.
Yeah,
about
Trevor's all up to date. He loves that show. He's so happy
It's
I'm
so
watching it.
good.
I've never watched it, but I forget who it was. It might have been Freddie Wong, I think, is the person who retweeted it. But someone tweeted something like, people who watch Succession are like, this scene is so iconic, and then they just put like a bunch of stock photos of board meetings.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it looks like the most, like if you don't watch the show and you look like at a frame of it, it's like, it looks like the most boring corporate meeting thing ever.
Well, they kind of like almost every episode is always geared around some canonical excuse for everyone to be gathering for some reason, so they can have a lot of these big like gathered conversations. It's like there's 2 modes of the show. Everyone's off talking about each other, and then everyone gathers, and then shit happens. And so you're always just like, we're at another like big board meeting, we're at another big party, we're at a wedding, we're at a birth. Like it's just like that kind of stuff that happens over and over again.
The way they work with like tense moments in that show is so masterful.
Yeah, the tension is great.
It's just like insane. I know that I'm in for a ride because I brought a scene up to Trevor. He was like, what do you think so far? I was like, man, that scene where this person ejaculates onto the window was like really uncomfortable. And he was like, when did that happen? Like, and I was just like, is that not a memorable scene for you? Like, what else? What other shit goes down in this show?
It's pretty amazing. This last season I found a Twitter account that was just no contact succession, and it's just so great. It's just random screenshots from it. It's pretty good. I love that show.
Yeah, it's really it's fantastic so far. I can't wait to see the rest of it. From what I've heard, it's just one of the best shows on TV.
And the 3rd season, which just wrapped, that's not like the last season or anything, right? It's
No.
like, okay.
You buzzing?
I'm buzzing. Sorry.
My girlfriend, she has been just randomly catching up on shows that she missed because she just for a while back wasn't watching TV and movies very much, and that's why it's like now we've been watching a lot of movies together that she's catching up on. But then on her own, she's a binge watcher. She either isn't watching anything at all, or then she just fully binges a show almost immediately, and then is like just takes a break and just doesn't have anything to watch. Like she just recently watched all of season 1 of True Detective for the first time.
Oh wow.
Oh man, it's such a great
Yeah.
show.
Season 1 is
Yeah.
top.
Yeah, she loved it. She's also from Louisiana, and so and True Detective, the whole first season takes place.
So she
there.
had the same experience as me watching 20 somethings.
I know that. I know that.
I've been to that swamp.
But yeah, so she just binges through.
Take her straight to season 3.
I don't
True
know if she's.
Detective.
I told her like I didn't really care for 2,
Yeah, 2 is.
and so I didn't see 3.
3 is amazing. 3 might be as good, if not better than
Do you
season
need
1.
to see 2
No,
to watch?
they're all
Self-contained,
anthology.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Season 3, absolutely amazing. Totally different than season 1, but still, like, really, really
That
incredible.
was with Mahershala, right?
Yes, and what a great segue. Have you all seen? There's a movie on that. This is the Have You Seen episode of the podcast.
Yeah, we're
Well, we've
catching
been away
up.
from each other for like 2-3 weeks at this point, so it's just like, what
Yeah,
have you been
that's true.
watching?
There was an Apple TV Plus movie that came out with him called Swan Song.
No, it's new. I haven't gotten to it
They
yet.
released it December 17th. It's really good, and I feel like, well, I thought it was really good anyway, and I feel like it's the kind of thing where I haven't seen anyone really talking about it or getting.
It's hard to find. It's hard to find people other than like Ted Lasso. Apple TV really hasn't like. I feel
It's
like
a morning show, which is apparently pretty good.
I watched
Yeah.
the first season, but not the second. But yeah.
Okay.
yeah, it's actually got a lot of like really good content, but I don't think people talk about like the Apple TV stuff. Like did you see Finch?
I
That
did
kind
not
of a
watch
thing.
Finch. Swan Song's interesting. It's this is not. This sounds like huge spoilers. It's not. This is the first 5 minutes of the movie. It's a guy who, played by Mahershala Ali, who has a terminal illness, and he knows he's going to die, but he hasn't told like his wife or anyone in his family or anything.
But I don't think I could watch that.
But it's set in the near future, and there's a service that he contacts who says, "We can make an exact copy of you. It'll have your memories, everything, like everything about you will be exactly the same. If you don't tell anyone that you're terminally ill, we'll just insert this copy of you into your
Indiana
life."
Jones you.
Right. And you can, you leave your life. The copy comes in and takes your place.
Like an Android.
No,
Does the
it's like a
copy-
clone.
Does the copy know it's
Oh.
a copy?
Yes, but once it's inserted, it'll forget that. Like they spend time together synchronizing memories and experiences and everything. Then once it's inserted, it will forget that it's a clone. It will think it is the original, and it'll forget that any of that stuff
Very
happened.
Black Mirror.
Yeah, it is. It is very Black Mirror, but it doesn't really. Well, I don't want to speak too much of that, but it's a really interesting premise, and then just dealing with like the emotions of it, like him coming to grips with, can he do this? Is it okay to do this without telling his family, and like all the complications that go along with that?
Yeah.
And then like along the way, he meets someone else who has gone through that,
Interesting.
and he meets the copy who doesn't know that they're a copy out in their life, and then meets the actual person
I want to see this.
who has removed themselves from their life. It's a movie. It's like 2 hours long.
Swan Song?
Swan Song. It's really
Making a
really
note.
good, really interesting. I almost wish it was a series so there was more to explore to it. But it's fine. I'm glad it was a movie. I thought it was fantastic performances. I thought it was really, really good.
That's awesome.
It also has Awkwafina in it, who I think is just like blowing up. I mean, she is like huge. She's everywhere, right?
She was in
Did you watch
Shang-Chi,
the Farewell?
right?
She was in
Yeah, she was
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi,
Did you watch
North from
Farewell?
Queens.
The Farewell.
Farewell.
The one with her.
Oh no, I never saw it.
That if you enjoyed her, like that was like The Farewell is peak like drama version of her, and it actually involves the possible death of a loved one, that kind of thing. But
Man.
that one's
The Farewell.
yeah, it was fantastic with Awkwafina.
I'm curious to see if I'm going to like this one because I think Gus and I, we're on the same page in a lot of ways, but I found lately we have pretty opposite opinions on movies.
Normally, you and I are lined up. We did not line up on The Matrix.
The Matrix. Is that where you were going to go with it?
I was going to go, The Matrix was going to be something I talked about as
what
well.
was the other one that you didn't line up?
Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar.
You liked it?
I really enjoyed it.
Which one's that one?
It's with Kristen Wiig, and I forget the other actress's name.
All the marketing is like super brightly colored.
She
And
was
it's
the
on
woman who
Hulu,
played
I
the nervous flyer in Bridesmaids. Annie Momolo.
I thought it was. I enjoyed it very
and
much.
Star Go to Vista
I just
Del
felt
Mar.
like when I watched it,
Oh, it's on
that it
Hulu.
was like an improv movie.
I don't like those.
I understand where you're coming from, and there were definitely scenes where I'm like, I bet you they didn't give them a script on this. They were just like, just go. But I like it was a good balance.
Even like the overarching story, I was like, what?
It's a little ridiculous. I definitely like the opening scene of the movie. I was just like, am I watching the right movie
I
right
did the same thing. I think I stopped it. I was like, is this right?
now? So that
Lifelong
part
friends
definitely-
Barb and Star embark on the adventure of a lifetime when they decide to leave their small midwestern town for the first time ever. That's it. That's the synopsis.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah, I don't know how you explain that movie beyond that.
Well, the thing is you can't because it'll essentially spoil
The entire movie.
the entire thing.
Yeah, it's a.
It's at 80 on Rotten Tomatoes, so
Is it?
Well, it's
that,
just
that
funny
means
because-
nothing anymore.
because I saw it and I was at the gym. This was like a few weeks ago, and I was like, "Oh, like I'm just on a treadmill. Like, let me put this on," and I was like really enjoying it. And I was like, "Was this the movie that Gus like wanted to turn off?" And so me and Trevor then watched it together. I stopped watching it so we could watch it together, and we both enjoyed it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. If Rotten Tomatoes is 80%, I could be on the wrong end.
You know when you Google something,
You might just not have been in the right mood for it.
maybe.
you know when you Google something and now Google like gives you the top things people ask, and then so you can like do a drop down and see if the answer is. The top thing someone's asked is, "What is the point of Barb and Star?"
I think it feels like one of those movies where, like everyone wanted to hang out and make a movie. And
Oh,
they're
like an Adam Sandler film.
yeah, almost like an Adam Sandler film where it's like, yeah, we're gonna do this thing, and it's like, they're all obviously.
How can we go on
having a good
vacation
time
and get like Universal to pay
to
for
pay
it?
for it? Yeah.
Yeah.
This episode of the Rooster Teeth Podcast is brought to you by Stamps.com. If you've got a small business, sometimes time is really money. So stop wasting your time going to the post office when Stamps.com makes it easy to mail and ship right from your computer. Stamps.com has really made the world of mailing easier than ever, and get back to the fun stuff I want to do and just deal with that other stuff, in its own time. It's quick. It's easy. Since 1998, Stamps.com has been an indispensable tool for nearly 1 million businesses. Stamps.com brings the services of the USPS and UPS shipping right to your computer with exclusive discounts. All you need is a computer and a standard printer. In minutes, you'll be printing official postage for any letter or package anywhere you need it to go. Save time and money with Stamps.com. There's no risk with our promo code ROOSTER. You get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com. Click on the microphone at the top of the homepage and type in Rooster. That's Stamps.com, promo code Rooster. Stamps.com. Never go to the post office again.
It's not my favorite movie ever, but like it was definitely like good for a chuckle and like a fun little, Saturday night movie to watch. I'm curious to see your opinion on it if you end up checking it out.
I'll check it out. I like to jump in on the discussion with that kind of
But
stuff.
the other movie that Gus and I don't agree on is the new Matrix.
Matrix Resurrections.
Resurrections.
Before we get to that, I'm trying to see here.
Ooh, the tension. The tension's building.
I'm trying to get back to Barb and Star for a second. I guess they came out during the pandemic, right?
Barb and Star.
I think so.
It was supposed to come out in 2020, then got pushed because of the pandemic. Looks like it came out February 2021.
Yeah.
Made $32,000 in the box office.
Yeah.
In February? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, well, because also stuff was still closed.
That's what I'm
and-
saying. I don't know how you got people to go see that kind of a movie.
I thought The Matrix was good. It wasn't like The Matrix Resurrections. It was fine. Like, I don't think it was as good as the first one, but after I just recently rewatched Reloaded and Revolutions.
Oh, okay.
So I watched,
So in
I
comparison.
rewatched all three, and I was like, man, those movies, the second one and the third one especially, I was like, they're terrible. Then I watched the fourth, and I was like, oh, okay, that was good. I liked it.
Okay, interesting. Because I went straight from the first, like the original first Matrix, to watching Resurrections. I did not enjoy it.
I think the only thing that really bothered me. Can we talk? How long has that movie been out? 2 weeks at this point.
We probably should still avoid spoilers.
Okay.
Maybe keep it broad. Since we've both seen it, we know what you're.
There was a mechanic in the movie I didn't like. About how can I put it? about bots.
Okay.
That was about like the biggest problem I had with it. But I thought that the way that they incorporated the original,
It's hard to describe without spoiling it.
yeah, but I thought there were some really interesting things that they did with regard to what we think of as the Matrix, especially going back to, I remember watching the first one in the theater when it came out, especially going back to the hype and the stuff people were saying between the release of the first Matrix and the second Matrix, and where they thought the series might go and what the possibilities could be for that series. I thought that part 4 was an interesting take on what people were hyped for and expected from 2, or expected out of 2.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're referencing like a lot of the conversations they have in the first half of the film in those like game dev meetings.
Yes.
Yeah, the movie was definitely not so subtle about its response to not only that audience, but even the studio's response.
Yeah, I thought that was a little heavy-handed.
Like they flat out saying it, like they're gonna make this because they're talking about in the movie. This is no spoiler. The Matrix is a video game, and they talk about in the movie about making a sequel to the Matrix, the video game. But they're obviously referencing the movie, and they say a character says to Neo like, they're going to make this without us, and if we don't,
they say Warner Brothers is going to make this with or without you.
Yeah. So it's almost like Lana Wachowski
That
put
part was
herself.
so heavy-handed.
Yes.
I was just like, come on.
I'll say this: the movie was actually very smart in commentary, especially in the first half when it was all that kind of stuff. There was actually some interesting, because it even has a lot of it definitely the stuff they talk about, how what people expect from Matrix and what a lot of those guys who like really grew up on it, wanted from it. They have literal conversations about that. The problem was that it felt like it never actually paid off with the objectionable good parts of the Matrix. Like the first Matrix, on a technical level, is beautiful and amazing and tight. The editing, the filming is beautiful. The stunt choreography is the good kind, where you're not relying on quick cuts and close-ups and whip pans to hide, cheapness. The Matrix Resurrection doesn't have that. It is, I get it. Keanu and Carrie, they're getting older. It's hard to do the kind of stunts like that with them, and I get that. But like, that's part of the genre is
it's supposed to be unbelievable.
And just amazingly crafted and beautiful in that way. Like especially in the first Matrix, there's so many like iconic shots, not necessarily because they were so cool, although they are really cool shots, but because the Wachowskis crafted it so meticulously in the first time. They even talk about in the making of the movie, the first one, that they like storyboarded it like a comic book, and it was just you can see the exact shots, those really iconic ones from the bullet time to even like Trinity's gun to the agent's head and saying dodge this, like the way they shot all that kind of stuff. That element I felt was fully extracted from Matrix Resurrections, and it felt very sloppy and cheap the way they shot it, made it, lit it.
I felt like they were, and of course I have no insight into this movie, but I felt beyond like
it's also a super expensive movie. Like it has a major budget.
I felt like there might have been, and by the way, Eric's in Slack. He's like, spoil it. It's the fourth Matrix. Who cares? I felt like there was something that may have been cut or may have been missing, because I felt like there were lots of times when there were like shortcuts being taken, like axes were changed 90 degrees.
Yeah.
And like there was no, like it happened a couple of times, but there was no payoff for that, or no like, here's a big explanation for it. It was like, oh, I get we're like shifting our perspective or whatever, but like,
listen,
is there something else missing
Inception.
here?
They liked that. They wanted to do the Inception thing.
I just think my like a big problem I had with it is I don't like when a movie tries so hard to be like, hey, remember this, remember this, remember this.
It was,
and it was a lot of like too referential to especially the first movie, to where like they were recreating certain scenes and like a lot of nods to it, like a little. Some is okay. When it's like throughout the entire movie the whole time, it's just too much.
If it was done intentionally to continue to poke at that commentary, it's smart, but I still didn't enjoy it. Like
I feel like I see that critique a lot. That it's like you keep getting beat over the head.
It's like,
with
yes,
the
we
original.
get it, The Matrix.
But it's like, but in the way, like you even say it in the movie, and like this, obviously not spoiler. There's like this is the beginning of the movie. It's like they keep saying like the Matrix is so iconic. We all grew up on it. So it's like it's kind of like to me it was kind of the point.
Yeah.
Was like just to keep showing it, like keep to like overload you with it.
a viewpoint that I listened to that kind of helped maybe ebb some of my frustration, because I really did. I loved the first movies. First movie, I liked Reloaded a lot, and Revolutions is half a train wreck, which means it's a train wreck. But I enjoyed Red Letter Media. They're a good YouTube channel, and they have some fun takes on stuff, and I sometimes agree with them, sometimes vehemently disagree with their views. But one thing they compared Resurrections to was Gremlins 2. Like Joe Dante's Gremlins 2, because Gremlins 2 is a parody of the first Gremlins and is making fun of the first Gremlins and all that kind of stuff. And so it's almost like a fuck you to the studio. Like, yeah, I'll make it, but I'm gonna make fun of like what you're having me make, and I'm just going to interject my commentary in it to the whole thing. And so if that was the intention, of Lana in it, it was to do that. That's very smart and interesting, and at the same time unenjoyable for me as an audience member who was just a bit hyped to just get to go back into the Matrix and re-experience something like that, like an addition to the world.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I did like the fact that I got to watch it at home. That was nice. Just to get to watch it on HBO Max.
I've
it's up
felt
there for a
that
bit.
about many movies I've seen late over the last year, where it's like, well, I'm glad I didn't pay any extra to go out and see that.
You still need to see, well, especially now with the way Omicron is raging, better safe than sorry by going out. But another movie that you still have to see is Don't Look Up.
Yes.
Which is another movie that was in theaters and now is on Netflix.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it listed on Netflix
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
this
Trevor
past
actually
weekend. I just haven't watched it yet, just because like Cobra Kai came out, and so I started I was watching Cobra Kai all weekend.
Don't blame you.
Yeah, and I've been avoiding the theaters for the most part. I finally got around to watching Shang-Chi on Disney Plus, because I know Eternals is coming out on Disney Plus like in 2 weeks. So I was like, I need to watch Shang-Chi before Eternals.
Did
you like it?
It was really good.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi's very good.
Really good. I like that they are working to retcon and fix the Mandarin from Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it's like, because that was so fucking dumb and wrong and bad. And now they're like, whoa. It's like, even in Shang-Chi, they're like, yeah, those loser idiots pretending to be the Mandarin. He named himself after an orange,
Man, I saw Iron Man 3 once, and I don't remember anything about it.
I actually really like Iron Man 3, but we don't have time to get into reasons why I like Iron Man 3. But I am watching through the MCU for the first time with my girlfriend.
What'd you think?
We've gotten up to the first Avengers. We just finished the first Avengers. And it's interesting to watch it through with her, because we're watching it through now in 2021 and 2022. And it's very odd to go through it for the first time with someone who isn't also watching it with the context of having gone through it at the time when it came out.
Right.
Because a lot of context reasons of why things were done the way they were, why things were released, that don't seem very good now in the light of day now. Because along the way we had a lot of these conversations of what the Marvel world had to change to become something that wasn't just a bunch of strong white boys hitting each other over and over again. Like, there needed to be some different perspectives and inclusivity added in. Talk about Eternals. Eternals is like the peak level of that. And there's obviously in hindsight now, a lot of the first Marvel stuff was crafted by someone like Joss Whedon, who now it doesn't have.
Well, even the first Avengers movie, or the poster, got a lot of shit, because it's like Black Widow standing backwards, shoving her butt out into camera.
She can't stand. My girlfriend can't stand how much in the first films there are constant butt shots of women all the time for no reason.
Wait till Endgame. Endgame or no, Infinity War? Where is there a ton of Captain America's ass?
That's the thing. They're
That's
talking-
I'm just
America's
saying,
ass.
they make up for it.
That's the thing. Is that and like she's watching it and she's like, that's so a lot. And I'm like, well, and even like I was telling my Twitch chat the other day because I'm watching, because we even watched the first new 2 Iron Man, because that's phase 1. It's Iron Man 2. And
Oh, it's Endgame, of course, because like, time travel. Okay.
yeah, Tony Stark is a terrible character as far as like an individual human being. He is narcissistic. There are so many terrible misogynistic jokes in the second movie. It's
Well, Tony Stark's supposed to be a piece of shit.
It is.
Yeah.
He is a piece of shit. And they start breaking him down at, in like Iron Man 2 is the breakdown of him and for him to rebuild himself up in my Iron Man 3. But it's you watch it and you're like, we got through Iron Man, and then she watched Thor, and she liked Thor because in the first Thor movie, Thor has his own arc of becoming a bit more noble and moral and that kind of thing. And then when we got to Captain America, it was fun to watch a movie where like the character is good from the beginning, is a nice guy and everything like that. But by the time we got to Avengers, she liked Iron Man the most, mostly because she's like, he's the most powerful. Like, he's got the most stuff to do. He can do things. She pointed out, she's like looking at like Captain America and Hawkeye and Black Widow in Avengers. And she's like, what the hell are they doing? What are they going to do?
Hawkeye and Black Widow are worthless.
Yeah, especially in the first Avengers movie. They just do, they like when the full Chitauri like invasion happens, it's just like, what are you all doing? Like, why are you here?
Wasn't there even an SNL skit after the first Avengers came out? I think when Jeremy Renner was hosting, maybe even, that it was like all the Avengers and then, getting together, like, and then Hawkeye's like, all right, guys, well, I'm out of arrows, so, I'm going to go home. Like, like, what do you mean you're going to go? Like, I mean, that's my thing, and I'm out.
Have you watched the Hawkeye series yet?
No.
Are you guys going to watch like all the series too?
I'm realizing now there are some we'll have to watch.
Yeah.
Which also, since she does have some context of some future stuff, it ruins some surprises. Like, although she hasn't seen the future films, in Iron Man 2, when Scarlett Johansson shows up, and it's supposed to be a surprise later that she turns to be Black Widow, she shows up as like, from Lee, she's like, isn't she one of the Avengers? She's one of them, right? I think I'm like, no.
It's just ScarJo.
I saw her, and I think I saw her in a poster of another one, and I'm like, and so then even also things like when they were trying to have emotional moments, like Loki's like supposed to like seem like he dies in the first one. She's like, doesn't he have a TV show like recently? And I'm like, yes, he's coming back.
Well, when you're watching it way after the fact, of course.
Well, she didn't even know, like, when we watched the first Thor, she's like, because Thor almost looks like he's gonna die in the first Thor, and I blurted out because she was like, "Is he gonna die?" I was like, "Well, he's got like there's like 2 more Thor movies." She's like, "There's 2 more Thor movies? I thought this was it." I'm like, nope.
Well, I guess you'll find out sooner.
Well, even Loki, we all thought he was dead after Infinity War.
He dies so many times,
and they're like, coming to Disney Plus in 2021, Loki the series. Like, wait, he's dead.
Yeah.
There was I don't know if I could say this without it being a spoiler, but there's one Marvel series that I haven't watched yet, which is proving to be a mistake, and that is
Is it WandaVision?
no,
Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Blind Guy.
Oh,
Daredevil.
Daredevil.
Oh, that's a good one.
I haven't seen any Daredevil. And so
you
there have
still-
been moments in some Marvel stuff lately
Yeah,
where people have reacted to certain
they're
things.
integrating things.
And I go, oh.
Because that was a Netflix series, like before they
Yes.
consolidated everything.
She actually, my girlfriend has watched Jessica Jones, just randomly. She
That
watched
one I also haven't seen. Jessica Jones. And
she liked that. It's good. And she tried to watch Daredevil, but she didn't get through it because she felt it was too violent. She doesn't really care for, at the time she was in the mood for a lot of violence. Now she's not, so it's a problem. She does get bored at long action sequences. So in the end of Avengers, that like Chitauri fight goes on for fucking forever.
That's half the movie.
And she got bored. She was like, she likes all the character extra stuff.
Yeah.
And so she got bored. She was like so over it. Like she was like, are they gonna wrap this up and do like figure it out? Like she was done. It's fantastic to watch it with her.
I would love to see people's reaction. I mean, I would just want to watch the entirety of the Marvel universe again. Like it's just fun.
And that's
like
what
fun movies.
she gets to
And she
she's
gets to
watching.
experience it
Yeah,
for the first time. I wish I could wipe my memory and experience it for the first time.
yeah.
You know, people are like, I wish I could wipe my memory of this book that I read or
Yeah.
whatever, so I could experience it again. That's like the Marvel movies for
That's
me.
it for you.
Yeah, I'm excited to get to some of the like end of phase. When was like Civil War? Was Civil War phase 3?
I think so. Like I
We
think
need to get through phase 2, which I'm not too excited
it's
about.
after you get to Winter Soldier forward.
That's what I'm
when
excited
everything
about.
starts like
Yeah.
accelerating and getting really good.
Yeah.
Up until then, it's like very
Yeah.
uneven.
Because even Captain America is still pretty lame
Yeah.
in Avengers. Like he's pretty lame in the first movie. He's fine, but as far as like doing cool shit like Iron Man and Thor get to do, is pretty lame. And then the Russo brothers who directed Winter Soldier, who then went on to direct the majority of the other big ones. They kind of redefined how he was like perceived. I like that.
I mean, after they did Winter Soldier, they did Civil War as well, right?
Yeah, they did Civil War,
Yeah.
and then they were Endgame,
Which were
and
probably
Infinity
the
War.
best ones before Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, Civil War.
Which they
was
also made.
Really good. Do you think you could pick a favorite, like all time, of all the Marvel movies?
I think the easy answer would be Endgame, but you can't enjoy it without watching 10 fucking years of movie for like in order for it to be the favorite, you
Right.
have to have all these other movies that you watched and sat through in order for it to be the
Well,
favorite.
that's why we're watching
I
it
think-
through, is because I went and saw Spider-Man, and she wanted to go see it, and I was like, "You won't understand what's going on."
Yeah, there needs to be.
You need
a lot of
to.
backstory there.
There's a lot of context, and I was like, let's finally catch up, because we've been trying to catch up on a lot of stuff that she had not seen, like The Matrix. She had never seen any of them until we watched them through, and we got to see Resurrections together, and Harry Potter she had never seen. We finally watched through all that, and so we're getting through the nerdy franchises she just missed.
There's so many. Lord of the Rings next.
She's dating a big nerd.
Yeah, she's putting in the work.
Yeah, she is. She likes it.
It's quality entertainment.
Yeah, I'm not forcing her through it. She's actually been asking to watch more of it, so that's good.
This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. Making websites on your own is hard. There are many awful website building platforms out there with limited features that make ugly, poorly optimized sites. Luckily for you, Squarespace is the go-to all-in-one platform to build beautiful online presences or to run your business. Squarespace seriously has everything you could need to build a website that suits your needs, from small businesses to content creators. They got member areas so you can connect with your audience, generate revenue through gated, members-only content. Interested in building that community? Squarespace also offers blogging and commenting features so you can create a community through threaded comments, replies, and likes. Plus, they have a traffic overview feature so you can actually see how much the community you're building has grown. You've heard me talk about Squarespace for a long time now. I appreciate how it's super simple to use. Everything's point and click, no coding required. With their great templates, you can get up and running in no time. I love it. I think you should give it a try. So head over to squarespace.com for a free trial. When you're ready to go to launch, go to squarespace.com/roosterteeth. Save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Thor Ragnarok's pretty good.
Ragnarok. Oh,
It's definitely up there.
I always say Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier's great.
yeah, Ragnarok's
I
up
like
there
the first
for me
Iron
too.
Man a lot.
First Iron Man's quality.
But yeah,
I
Endgame.
remember watching Ragnarok in the theaters, and when it was over, I was like, man, why weren't there movies like that when I was a little boy? Like when I was a little kid, like
Yeah.
this would have been a movie I would have watched like every day.
Yeah.
Well, like
Absolutely.
first Iron Man came up, and Gwyneth Paltrow comes on screen. She's like, I don't like her. Why is she? Because she's now like pseudoscience goop pushing,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and my girlfriend works in like public health and that kind of thing, and so she hates that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, when we saw this, she wasn't doing that yet, and so it really wasn't that big of a deal that she was in it. But yeah, now I'm just like, I don't really care to see Gwyneth Paltrow
Yeah.
and stuff because of like.
But you could almost separate it because it was like before she.
That's the same as that she's
Represented
now
that.
seeing it all fresh with a 2021 perspective, and so
Sure.
she doesn't have that disconnect. Even there, she even. I know, I don't want to say something because in case she might watch this about something she said that I can't. She keeps saying stuff that I want to spoil, but I won't because I want her to have the fresh.
Gotta be
experience.
patient.
Yeah,
You get through it all.
Do you think you're going to try to film her reactions to anything?
I should. I guess I
Like,
should.
there are certain things that happen that are clearly like huge moments, both sad and happy.
Yeah,
that I
yeah,
Think, like,
there's
seeing
some-
people's reactions is always fun.
She actually called it maybe about a minute before when Loki's having a conversation with Tony Stark in Stark Tower in Avengers, and it's when Iron Man switches into that new suit that catches in midair. And she's getting so frustrated with Loki. Like, she really sees him as a villain.
I love Loki.
I know everyone loves Tom Hiddleston now, but she like really sees him as a villain, doesn't like him, and so she was just like, I think like, oh, because Thor starts fighting him a little bit before Thor leaves. She's like, can Thor just smash him? Can someone finally just smash him? I was like 30 seconds, you'll see it. Like, and so then finally when Hulk just slams, she was like, yes, that's what I wanted.
They knew.
Yeah.
The people who made this movie knew.
That's such a great moment.
Yep.
Puny God.
Iconic, some might say.
Yes. Have you watched Witcher with her? Have you watched Witcher season 2?
Not done Witcher with her. It's one of the rare Netflix series that she hasn't watched. But I've been watching. I'm about halfway through the season. Mm-hmm. I like it.
Did you watch season 2?
I haven't seen any of The Witcher.
Oh, you haven't seen any of it? Mm-mm. Excellent show. And I thought season 2 had a lot to live up to. And they just fucking kill it. I mean, they just knock it out of the park.
Right out of the bat, I like season 2 because it got into it better. Like the biggest letdown of season 1 is how long it takes to get into it into the first season. Well, like episodes.
Well, because it does that like time shifting thing where season 1 starts at the end of the story.
Oh, okay.
And then it's like you like have to kind of like rewind. And
Is
then
it like
it's like
Memento almost?
No, it's not like backwards.
There's some duality. There's some dual like storylines happening.
Yeah, so it's like there's a lot of setup because of that, but all of that's done by the time season 2 starts. So it's just like get right to it.
I like to work out while I'm watching Witcher. It's good to see Henry on the TV.
I was gonna say Henry. Is it Cavill?
Cavill?
How do you actually
Henry Cavill.
Cavill.
I think Blaine says Cavill.
It's like Cruella de Vil. Which, by the way, Cruella, great movie. I liked it.
I keep meaning to watch it.
I really enjoyed it. I thought Emma Stone was a delight.
My kids liked it a lot.
You didn't?
No, I didn't like it.
That's okay. I enjoyed it.
On The Witcher, though, I do love one of my favorite online commentators, Anthony Oliveira. He commented something that like he put to words some of those in my head, where he's like, after you see Henry Cavill, who's like built like, you know, a brick house and has, you know, a back as wide as the Grand Canyon and, you know, it looks like an Adonis made out of marble. Then he shows up at the house full of all the other Witchers, and you just assume that all Witchers are gorgeous creatures. And it's like just a house full of like schlubby, like halvesies, okay looking dudes. I'm like, is Henry? Is Geralt really just the pretty one?
Are we going to talk about how?
Are we going to talk about how he's the only pretty one in the room?
I think anyone's going to look hideous next to him.
But there's like a step and then there's a drop off, and in the show it's a drop off of like, you know, because like talk about
who are you going to cast next to him? You've already got Henry Cavill. Like, who are you going to put?
We're talking about the Avengers, and you got Chris Evans next to Hemsworth and that kind of thing. There's some good looking boys.
There's a reason Henry Cavill's not an Avenger. I'm just saying.
Yeah, because he's in DC movies.
I guess that's
he's taken. He's already Superman.
There's a rumor going around that the Flash film is going to reboot the DCEU and negate Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck stuff.
Oh my God. I mean, how many times are they going to restart shit?
I do love this reaction because I think most people have this reaction. I was reading the Reddit post about this, and most people's reaction was upset about it. The comic book reader in me goes, yeah, they do that all the time. In Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah, but I think
Flashpoint.
I think
Rebirth.
We see Marvel making a 10-year plan and fucking killing it
on a movie level.
And then DC's like, yeah, we're gonna do this. Ben Affleck's gonna be Batman. No, wait, no. Robert Pattinson. Jared Leto's gonna be the Joker for 3 minutes. Yeah, no, we're gonna go somewhere else. Joaquin Phoenix is the Joker now. Like,
man,
in a standalone movie that doesn't interact with the other ones.
It's whiplash all over the place.
It makes me think of the most recent Star Wars films where they're all sequels to each other, but they have different directors with no overarching story.
Well, some of the best stuff I think now with these kind of franchises is the standalones. Like even in DC, the new Suicide Squad was
fantastic.
That was a fantastic movie.
Oh yeah. I also loved Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey
was great.
Birds of Prey was great.
Fantastic movie.
It was with tertiary like connection to the DCEU, you know.
Yeah.
I wish they hadn't given away the big bad monster in the trailers for the Suicide Squad.
I don't like trailers anymore.
Yeah, it's like I wish that had been saved for like in the movie. That would have been so awesome.
I just remember I saw Margot Robbie in person and I almost died. I literally was just like, ha, ha. I didn't know how to form words. She was like 20 feet away from me, but still, I was just like,
That's still pretty close.
But I mean, they're about to do with the Batman.
Yeah.
That's standalone.
the Batman.
It'll probably be fine. It'll be good. I'm looking forward to
excited
Robert
for it.
Pattinson.
I'm excited to see him as the Batman.
I like that, Robbie.
too. Everything I've seen so far from it looks really good.
Yeah, the trailers look good.
Did y'all ever see The Lighthouse
No.
with Willem Dafoe and
No, I
Robert
never got around
Pattinson?
to it.
It's free on Amazon
Yeah,
Prime Video.
It's been there staring at me, and I'm like, I probably should. I don't feel like it. You know when you're looking at stuff, you're like, I
watch
should
it.
watch that.
There's a lot of movies where I'm just like, I don't know if I'll ever be in the mood to watch
That movie,
Yeah.
yeah. It was the same with me. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to watch this. Then one day I was like, fuck it. And I just put it on. I was like, wow.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I am in a constant state of being perpetually tired and anxious. And so often when I do sit down and watch something, it's very hard for me to pull on stuff that like is very good, but is going to be emotionally draining. Like I tried to watch, what's the Benedict Cumberbatch Western? Power of the Dog?
Benedict
I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's the new one right now that like it's got Oscar buzz. It's supposed to be an amazing film. It's really good. Even Andy Blanchard, he told me he's like,
The Power of the Dog.
yeah, he says really good. I couldn't get further than about 30 minutes into it because it's too emotionally draining and sad. And I was like, I want to watch something that's a little bit easier on my brain and is not going to like require so much from me right now. And so that can sometimes
happens,
limit
yeah.
me getting to watch certain things. Although, what was something I watched that was actually a bit emotionally? King Richard.
Yeah.
Venus Williams' father story with Will
That
Smith.
was good?
That was very good. It's very good. Will Smith does a really good job in it.
There are too many options of things to watch, to the point
It's
where
great.
you just feel like
It's great.
paralyzed by choice. Happens to me all the time. Where I'm just like, man, there's like a billion shows and movies that I've been meaning to watch or start, and I go, just put on a reality show.
That's the worst is like scrolling through like every different service and like I'm going
Yeah.
to spend an hour and a half. Like I'm going to spend a short movie's time looking for something to watch.
That's why I love when I finally get into something. Then I could just be like, "I'll just watch the next episode of this."
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you don't even have to think about it.
Yeah,
Versus like starting something and convincing yourself that you want to do that.
I think also like I'm in different moods sometimes. Like sometimes I'm like, I want to watch a movie where it's like I'm going to spend 2 hours, I'm going to be done with it, or it's like I don't have that attention span, but I don't want to watch a 1 hour show because then there's gonna be like another episode and another. Like I don't want to get that further invested into it. Which going back, like that's why like sometimes shows like How To are great because like it's 30 minutes and that's it. If I'm done, I can go do something else.
There was a great show on that was recommended to me on HBO that totally lands in that category called The Landscapers.
Oh, I keep seeing ads for that.
It's 4 episodes. It's bizarre but amazing. It's a story of this couple that got prosecuted for the potential murder of her murder and burial in the backyard of her parents.
Oh, geez.
And it's I can't remember the actor's name, but it's basically Professor Lupin from Harry Potter and the queen from The Favorite.
Olivia
Olivia
Colman.
Colman.
Yeah, it's them two.
David Thewlis.
What was it?
David Thewlis.
David Thewlis.
Thewlis.
And it's 4 episodes. It's just the story ends, and it's actually really interesting, like of a show. And so it's like that's the reason why it's recommended. But if you just want to sit down and watch just 4 episodes,
I keep remembering whenever I scroll and I see the like the art for, or not the art, like the photo for that. I keep thinking that that actor looks like an older Buster Bluth from Arrested Development.
he does because he's got the short hair and everything like that, and a prominent nose.
Buster Bluth. It's a good name.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Harry Potter reunion?
Not yet. I heard it's fun.
It's a very well done reunion. I think sometimes reunion shows are a little awkward or like just not entertaining.
Yeah.
They did a really good job. It's very emotional because they have like a lot of moments where they reminisce about people who've passed
Oh,
since
yeah.
filming, Alan Rickman and
Oh yeah.
a bunch of people who've been a
got
part
it.
of the series. And
Yeah.
it's just like, whew, it's tough. It's tough to watch in terms of like feeling really bummed out. So
About
just about like
Time.
losing good people and like
oh yeah
time
yeah
and
yeah.
just
I definitely should.
life.
Did you watch it like during the break or before Christmas or something?
We watched it. Well, it just came out, I think, on the 1st.
Oh, on the
so we
1st,
just
okay.
watched it this weekend.
Yeah, I see. When we've been talking about different things, people keep asking, like, if we've seen the Harry in chat here. People keep asking if we've seen the Harry Potter.
And I just want to say, fuck J.K. Rowling. Fuck her. But I think, you know, Harry Potter and the people involved in making that whole thing come to life did a very good job. And the actors are phenomenal. And, you know, Emma Watson is an incredible activist, and like anything I can do to support her, absolutely. But fuck J.K. Rowling.
Didn't she manage to make herself like didn't they like release like the announcement for the new movie, and the same day she did something else that got her into the, I don't want to get into it, but I think
don't know.
it was like something about the timing of her managing to still be controversial on a day that I'm sure Warner just wants to promote their new movie. Like, I don't know how you can't be in those offices and probably just be like, can you just shut up?
just stop.
Can you just stop? We just need to like sell these dumb movies. Like, I don't mean dumb like the dumb movies, but it's like they could just feel like that. We're just trying.
We're trying to make people happy.
We're just trying to sell tickets to these magical, whimsical little movies, you know, like we're
Stop being a terrible
just
person.
can you just let us because like those IPs are so utterly valuable to these production companies. Talking about Marvel.
Yeah. And they probably paid a lot of money for the rights
That's
to
what
this.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is that like I think a reason why a lot of the stuff of the way Marvel made their early movies was they had just invested billions of dollars into this comic book company, and they needed to like sell to the not like the lowest common denominator, but to like the widest breadth of people,
Right.
And just get all those little boys, because like they were really marketing to the little boys to just come to the theaters and watch Iron Man shoot lasers out of his hand. They just needed to like do that, and so it's like those IPs are so valuable, especially now that people really just want to go watch stuff they know. And it's the Harry Potter stuff. They're just like, we just want to be able to capitalize on this very popular IP, and the creator just won't shut up. Like,
It's just crazy that it's like the 20-year reunion of the first movie. Like, that's been 20 years. A lot has changed since then, but
that's crazy.
it's just a long, very like hard to wrap your head around period of time. Because I'm just like, now the actors, like the main three, I guess you'd call them, are like our age.
Well, they've been our age. They've always been our age.
They've already always been our age, but like, it's,
the version of what we see on the movies is no longer, you know, the truth.
The kids,
and
yeah.
You can get reminded immediately with a reunion that they're all just
it's just crazy.
they're adults.
Time passes,
It
apparently.
happens. It's you can't stop it. 2/22/22. Super excited.
That's the moral of the story. 2/22/22.
Time.
My kid said to me, to talk about being old, my kid said something to me the other day that was my waking nightmare. And she said, oh, Dad, I saw your TikTok. That was really funny.
Oh no.
It's time
What
to
does
burn,
that mean?
It's time to burn it all down, everybody. Say goodbye to my social media accounts.
Oh,
I'm
no.
deleting them.
Time to go private.
Is that worse, or is it worse to see your kids' TikToks?
Oh, I don't
what's-
want to see there. I see her filming like her kind of stuff that she does because my kids are, especially my eldest, not obsessed, but they really idolize the idea of, you know, online
TikTok is
media creation and
insanely
influencing and that kind of
addictive,
thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
Which one was it?
she was specifically referencing my which made this worse. She was referencing that she saw my Alamo Drafthouse one, which means she found my personal account, which I'm like, okay.
I thought it was like a Squad Team Force. one.
No, but she has told me she's Googled me,
Oh God.
and I'm like, don't.
Yeah.
How about you don't? How about I ground you if you do? Give me your phone. You never get it back.
That New Year's one, it's almost at 8 million.
That's crazy. That's
It's exciting.
We
Yeah,
made a
it's a
joke.
lot.
We made a joke in our meeting today where that one has soared past our other record breaker, which one was the earliest ones with you with the pizza, and like the cumulative views between the platforms is like crazy high, and we're just like, so does that mean we just take a break in January? Can we just like
We've
not-
hit our view quota.
Yeah, we hit our
for the
quota.
year.
Because I was like explaining, who was I explaining it to? Like Twitch chat or my girlfriend. I was like, let me just, like, I realized like this is my job. Every day, go in, make the funniest videos on the internet ever.
that are unique,
Like
that no one's ever done before.
Squad Team Force specifically, like we're supposed to like, just go make the funniest social
Do something
videos
funny,
ever.
yeah.
and make them as the most popular video ever, if you can.
In 30 seconds.
I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah. But that's our job. That's our job. And we did it.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I think it's very different than what we've been used to doing at Rooster Teeth the last, 10, 15 years, whatever it is. Obviously, almost 19 years. 10 years for me.
It's
And
so funny to
8
still
years for
see
you?
8 years.
8 years.
The comments are still there. Like I saw a comment on that video, on an 8 million view video, where someone decides to go, and this is all that's left of Rooster Teeth.
I thought that was a joke about after the pandemic.
No, I think
The
it was.
four of us are the only ones left.
But that's what I'm saying, is that it still was a comment on like that, and I'm like, we just did a viral video that, like, not to like pat ourselves on the back, but like clearly like we still have something of content to share.
People still find us entertaining, okay?
That's probably a conversation I shouldn't get into. I should just shut up.
I've been
right there.
trying to. I think I mentioned this on the podcast maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's like I'm trying to be better about not acknowledging negative comments,
a good
and
call.
then to try to find and signal boost positive comments. Which is why a couple of weeks ago I talked about the guy who was going to ride the Tour de France.
Yeah.
Like trying to find bright spots in the community and highlight that.
I loved everybody who caught Blaine's arm sling. That in the first shot we got him out of his arm sling, and then in the second he's like fully strapped up and
Which some
everything.
people were like, did you film this before he broke his arm?
I did like that the people like watched it through to catch like some of those little things.
Yeah,
in
we
there.
just filmed our actual New Year's Eve celebration back
in 2019.
Yeah, we just thought like, hey, let's film this just for fun.
Yeah.
It just so happened.
I like the people in chat who are still here hanging out. and watching.
Positivity. I think that's something I definitely want to work on this year, of just like having a more positive mindset, because your mind is so immensely powerful that if you feel a certain way or think that you feel a certain way and like dwell on that feeling or think things are going to go wrong, they will. And like that is going to be how you feel. You're going to feel shitty about shit. Versus like, I want to tell myself every day that I am happy.
With crazy eyes.
Well, to myself that
I think
I'm happy. And then maybe I will be.
Okay.
You'll convince yourself.
I mean, that's an option of just abject defiance to.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, fuck you, brain.
I think it still is also healthy to acknowledge your own reality. Like I even had a session with my therapist, and he called me up because we do it over phone. He's like, "How was your day?" I was like, let's just put it mildly terrible." And he's like, "Well, can it just be terrible?" And I said, "Yes, but let me explain it to you, therapist. I feel bad telling you that my day was terrible and unloading on you because I'm that anxious of a person that I feel bad letting you know that today was that terrible. Like I want to like kind of like middle it down a little for you so I don't like overwhelm you. My
That's his
therapist,
job, though.
I'm paying you to do it." And so I think there is like, it's okay to acknowledge like if you're having bad times, but positive
Absolutely.
outlook. And
I think it's more of if you assume things are gonna go wrong, or just like go into something thinking it's gonna be bad,
sure.
it will be. Like
Self-fulfilling prophecy
it's
kind
a
of thing.
self-fulfilling. Like there is. I don't want to use the word manifesting because I kind of don't. I'm not a huge fan of like that term, but just more of like I'm going to be positive. I'm going to look for the positivity. I'm going to look for the good comments and like think about those rather than think like, oh, people are going to say that like I talk too much in this thing, or like that this joke I made was really bad or whatever. Like I don't want to go down that path anymore because I've done too much of that.
Yeah. Don't give that way of thinking any power.
I want to be known as the happy person this year.
I like the way you said that. I want to be known as a happy person
I want
right
to be
now.
known as the happy person this year.
I will say on a positive note, because I can be a negative Nancy and an anxious little boy, but that 2021 has been great to watch people join us on this Squad Team Force journey, and especially the comments on the Rooster Teeth site and the direct comments that people get into our socials about.
Also, yes, we know the game is dumb. We know that. We know the name is dumb.
I don't care. I love the name.
You could stop
but
telling
I'm saying
us
like to watch people comment on like the hard modes and even just to find us on their social media and get so excited that we random show up on their For You page. Like I love seeing people
Oh hell yeah.
enjoying it. Like, you know, like reading the comments on our Minecraft videos or seeing people in chat right now or even seeing people in chat when we're streaming on Thursday and they're the people that show up that just want to like, you know, have fun with us.
Have a good time.
And want to participate in this. And like even the people like I get more people now more than ever that show up in my own personal Twitch chat that come in to want to comment on things like Stinky Dragon. And they want to like talk about how much they fucking love
It's a great show. You should listen to
show.
it. Everyone pointing at you.
And I'm like, yes, please do that. Come tell me how much you like my
it's
my
just-
terrible broken Scottish accent.
It's
in
nice to
Stinky Dragon.
have people who want to be there.
Yeah.
It's nice to make content for an audience that just wants to have a good time and enjoy what we're doing and just be positive, and that's it. Like that's why I think it's really fun to have this like new slate of content and new brand that we're doing, because like the people who've come over and joined us for the stuff are people who like are really excited for it, like we are. So I agree. I think that's been a really cool thing that happened this past year that I'm looking forward to more in 2022.
Yeah. Pew pew pew.
Two, 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 two.
Is that you shooting a laser gun that shoots twos?
Photoshop the twos in everywhere.
Two, 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 444.
So, I mean, all that being said, I feel like I do need to mention something. You know, we have the Very Normal Podcast Tour coming up here really soon. You know, the Austin show for a Very Normal Podcast Tour with Rooster Teeth Podcast Internet Today will be postponed to April 1st.
It was originally January 15th.
January 15th. You know, the holidays just passed. We want to do our part to maintain everyone's safety, provide a buffer for everyone to recover. I think the new date's great. You know, we had a few different dates to choose from. April 1st, it's our anniversary. You know, I'm excited to be able to host the Austin show on Rooster Teeth's 19th anniversary.
You can drink in Canada.
Hey, it's monumental.
Some places in Canada.
You know, the events team has been constantly monitoring data, working with Epistemics to make sure the safest decisions for events this year. We can't wait to go on tour. Look forward to the rest of a Very Normal Podcast Tour shows that are still to be announced. The February 11th show in Chicago will move forward to schedule with Face Jam and a special guest podcast, which is going to be announced this week. For those of you who already have a ticket for the January 15th show here in Austin at Stateside Theater, you will receive an email at noon Central Time tomorrow, Tuesday the 4th, from Stateside Theater verifying your ticket will be automatically rolled over to the same seats on the new show date, April 1st, 2022. If you're no longer able to make it, you'll be able to contact the box office for a refund. So no sweat. Please, we hope you can join us April 1st. We just want to be safe. We want you to be safe. We want us to be safe. We want everyone to be safe. And hopefully we can all have good times. April 1st. No, it's not an April Fool's joke. That's really our
That's our
anniversary.
anniversary.
Yes.
19 years.
So that'll
of
be
saying
extra
that.
fun, even more fun for people
Yeah.
because they'll get to be there for our anniversary. It'll be an anniversary celebration.
Yes. 100%.
It's gonna be nice to do a live show again.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to this one.
It's been a long
Just have to wait a
time.
little longer. We'll get there.
I am so excited for RTX.
Yes.
Like that, especially too, is having that back in person. I'm so excited.
You know what get me really excited about RTX?
Let's go get you excited about RTX.
That everybody who wants to come to RTX gets vaccinated and boosted.
Yeah,
That
baby.
would make me very, very excited.
Please do
I
that.
got the boost.
I have. I'm. Yeah. Here's my little thing. I'm excited about RTX. For a couple of years, when we were still being in person, I started the tradition of showing up to the convention with old doubles of either my X-Men trading cards or Pokemon trading cards, and I would give them out to anybody who wanted them, and that's what I would sign. And I would just, so if they had something to sign, I'd sign a Pokemon card, give it to them. And since we haven't gotten to do that in 2 years, I have so many doubles.
You're a lot of
of
banked up.
so many Pokemon cards that I want to give away as many Pokemon cards as possible, and I want it. That's what I'm excited.
You have like a big sack.
I got a
People
big
can
old
reach
sack.
in and grab one.
I'm gonna sign them. I'm gonna just throw them out there. Everybody have some fun.
And if you show your vaccine card to John, he'll give you triple.
Yeah, I will. I'll give you a hollow.
Man, I kind of screwed up the timing of something. Was it last week or the week before? Right before, initially I had scheduled to get a flu shot like in early December. But like the place I was going to get it, like called me the day before, and I had to schedule that like 2 weeks in advance. The place I was going to get it called me the day before I was supposed to get my flu shot, and they're like, "Yeah, we need to cancel your appointment. You can reschedule online." So I went to reschedule online, and it's like, "Oh, now I have to wait like another 3 weeks."
Why? What happened?
Who fucking knows? So
I feel like you could walk in to any place and get a flu
I was
shot.
so fucking annoyed.
Go to the HEB.
I didn't think about HEB. This was like, it was Walgreens. I'll call them out. It was Walgreens who canceled on me the day before my
There
fucking
goes
vaccine.
all that Walgreens money we were going to get, Gus.
God
So
damn.
I rebooked. I was so mad. I rebooked with CVS, but I still had to wait like 3 weeks. So it was like a couple days before Christmas. I had to get my my flu shot, and I got it. I was like, yeah, I got my flu shot, all set. And then like the next day, I started feeling kind of crummy,
Yeah.
and I was like, uh-oh, is this COVID? Is this cedar allergies? Or is this side effects from the flu shot?
Or all three.
So I was like, I was taking COVID tests like crazy. Like they all came back negative, but so I guess it was just like side effects from the flu vaccine. And it wasn't like I was running a fever or anything. It was just like like that general
Icky.
crumminess, like you're not feeling entirely right.
That is my
nervous.
least favorite guessing game. I'm gonna be honest.
And we're in peak cedar allergy season.
Yeah, oh,
right
we
now.
are. Like,
the allergies are so bad.
It is just hammering us, and then we've also had a lot of like mold in the going on as well.
And it's getting cold all of a sudden, so people are getting like the, when the weather shifts from really warm to really cold, just like that sickness that happens. I was debating whether or not to mention it publicly or even on the podcast, but I actually tested positive for COVID
She did.
on the 21st,
Merry Christmas.
which was the day that Trevor and I were supposed to fly to Indiana.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And I woke up that morning just like, it felt like kind of like, when you have to
Scratchy.
swallow a lot because like you have that postnasal drip.
Oh.
And Trevor's like, you should probably get tested just in case. I did. It was positive. I had about 7 hours of symptoms.
Yeah.
Thank you, booster and vaccine. Cannot recommend enough. I had a fever for a few hours. I had some chills and a headache. And then by the night, it was all gone.
That's good.
I had some congestion for a few days. I isolated for 10 days. Trevor and I did not sleep in the same bed. We wore masks in the house the entire time, which was not a fun way to spend the break, let me tell you. Staying in my office for 10 days, not being able to show any affection to Trevor, which is like my favorite pastime.
You
of
can wave
course.
through a window or something.
Pretty much.
Send notes to the door.
And he actually stayed negative the entire time.
That's good.
He's still in the clear. So I cannot recommend getting your vaccine and your booster as soon as you can, because clearly it really helped mitigate the symptoms, but also wear a mask if you're going anywhere publicly, be safe. And if you do have any sort of symptoms, do take a test if you can, because I thought it was just a little bit of a
Allergies
cold.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just pull a John and be an introvert and go nowhere and just, play video games and watch YouTube videos as much as you can. That also works.
Yeah.
It's different. Something different for everyone.
I know. I joke. Me and Gus even joke plenty of times about being the introverts who just are like.
It's yeah. I mean, I'm a pretty big introvert, but even this past like 2 years has been extreme.
Yeah. There is a limit, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, again, we're all very careful. I've been very careful. But just
That Omicron.
It's apparently
She's some
just
bitch.
as, if not more, infectious than the measles.
Ooh.
Contagious, than the measles, which is, up until this point, the most contagious virus ever. So it finds people. Anytime I was telling someone this earlier today. I was going through people's social media over the break and watching people celebrate Christmas and going out for New Year's. And every time I would see people at a bar or at a restaurant or hanging out with a big group of friends, I just went, "You're gonna get COVID.
Yeah.
You're gonna get COVID. It's inevitable if you're out in public now."
I tested, because we had been close to each other before you tested positive. I tested every day after that.
Yeah.
Because with Christmas coming up, I knew I had family visiting, and every test came back negative. And even when my family came up to visit, before they even came into my house, I was like, "Hey, let's you sit in your car for 10 minutes. I'm gonna swab this in your nose. We're gonna run some tests before you come into the house."
You come out to test them with your gloves
I
on.
felt like I was doing the COVID test
Yeah.
here, telling them and doing all the testing just to try to be safe. So yeah, same thing when I see people out and about, it's like, yeah, it's spreading. That's why numbers are
It's crazy.
super crazy high. But
crazy.
hopefully
this,
people get mild cases.
if they do, hopefully it's mild, and hopefully this also could be the end of it. You know,
Fingers
because
crossed, maybe.
it's replacing Delta already. I think they've seen that.
Yeah.
It's overtaking Delta in terms of like the most. I don't want to say the most popular case. The most.
It's the must-have case of the season.
Must-have case.
The most.
A few years ago, it was Tickle Me Elmo. Now it's Omicron.
Oh, that was another good movie. Was Street Gang. It was a Sesame Street documentary on HBO Max.
Oh, I haven't even seen that.
It's really good. Sorry, you just talked about Sesame.
Is it like a gritty reboot, Street Gang?
No, it's like it's a documentary. It's the making of Sesame Street
Oh.
with everything like that. Sorry, you mentioned Sesame Street. Muppet and Fanatic right here. I had to point that out. If you've got it, go watch it. It's really fantastic. and get vaccinated.
Yes. Those are the main takeaways from
Yeah.
this podcast.
Big Bird got vaccinated, so
Look at him.
Then he became a target.
then he became a target for
He's a puppet of the
for
government,
some upset
literally.
people. For some-
Government-funded puppet.
he is.
Oh, wait.
He works for the man.
He's a government-funded puppet. He is. PBS.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. I want to thank everyone for watching. We will see you guys again next week. Stay safe.
Choo 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 choo
Choo choo. Bye.
choo choo.